I very quickly got over myself, and I'm so glad that I did, because it turned out to be far and away the most challenging professional experience that I ever had, and training experience. And I'd been through uni and I just sort of skated by, and, you know, it was 3 days a week and last minute assignments, and I didn't have the drive, the fire in the belly, or the motivation. So when I did this, it was so hard. I was so out of my depth. And how wonderful that was, because it's a big wide world. And how are you ever expected to know it? You just can't. And if you think you do, you're naive, and you've got a lot to learn.
Welcome to Outside the Bell Curve. I'm Heather, and I talk to folks with cool jobs, wild stories, and a habit of choosing the unexpected. So if you're somebody who likes to color outside the lines a little bit or a lot of it, then you found yourself in the right spot. Right now, I am in Andorra. You might think, why am I here? Why am I filming this right now? Well, I needed to save some time on my Schengen visa, and this place is not in that zone. So you're here for a few days before I meet up with some friends in France. And yeah, I met somebody. We went on a cool hike, and right now they're tracking down some version of a prairie dog, is how I know it. I forgot the name of the animal. I will report back soon. I've only been here 3 days. It's kind of like if you fall in love really quick, you're like, oh, is it too soon? Is it too soon to say that I love this place and I want to come back time and time again? It's probably one of my favorite places I've been so far. And I've only been here a few days. So happy to introduce you guys to our guest. He's coming back from the hunt, not the hunt. He's just looking at the animal.
And it feels like it's all to ourselves. It's amazing to think.
Kind of wild how we intercepted with
Matt?
Everybody, just him and those girls all within that one moment.
Yeah.
We all ended up right here at that time.
And I guess this is one of those like pinch points, right? Like maybe with the refuge, but I'm curious where these people are coming from here.
Intersects with different trails.
So what's this, this isn't technology amazing?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, so tiny.
It's kind of intimidating.
Is it?
How is it for you?
I'm a little bit of a ham, I think. And it's funny that I'm a ham, but sometimes when I'm behind the camera, or if I'm in front of the camera professionally, especially if I'm modeling like for headshots or lifestyle shoots, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And I get nervous. But then I ease into it. It always takes time.
Yeah. I do a lot of, in my job, there's a huge element, I guess, in the way that I do it, of performance.
Yeah.
And that is to say, with the way that I'm storytelling and history. And characters and characterization. And I think I use a lot of that performance and panache and physicality. But as soon as someone puts a camera, it's different, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I guess until you become natural with it.
It's just like how there's a difference between acting and public speaking. I can do something in front of a camera, but I get nervous to raise my hand in a work meeting because I'm like, oh, what if I say something dumb? Or I can do improv in front of a bunch of strangers, but sometimes public speaking, people like, if you ever gone to like a talk back and they're like, does anybody have any questions? I'm like, yeah, I have a million questions, but I'm too scared to ask it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm filled with questions. Someone please ask this. And then someone asks it and you're like, fuck. I swear I'm smart.
As you're talking now, it's making me think a lot of the stories we tell, and it's not just the same tour to tour, and you've got to energize yourself for it and read the group, and then you sort of rev into it, and then you get into a rhythm, and then you're watching people and you're seeing people's faces and eyes, and you get some more momentum. But
yeah.
I fear that if I was being filmed, it's almost like, oh my God, I could be fact-checked, because there's probably some elements where I'm throwing in a character here or using a date that might be a few years off, and it adds substance and it adds maybe credibility. But I'd fear sometimes that, hang on, was that right?
The amount of times just in my everyday life without a camera where I say, check me. Also being like a history major, it's like I should check, and a journalism major, so I should really check my stuff before I say it out loud. Maybe
with all your experience, you sound like you'd be perfectly suited to my job. History, journalism, travel, people.
Yeah.
Just the organisation, maybe.
The organization is trash. I never considered that. Would have been really fun at some point. And in New York, I actually tried out to be like a tour guide. And I got to the second stage and I think I failed. I don't think I studied enough for it.
Okay.
I don't think I wanted it as much as other people did. It's a hard job. I think people look at it and think it's glitz and glamour, but like we said, it's a really hard job. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, so let's tell the people who you are while we're into it. So This is Patrick.
So I work in tourism and travel. So for the last 15 years, for 6 months of the year, I've based myself in different parts of Europe, and I work as a tour guide. So I take currently people roughly aged, it's open age, but around about 70 to 80 years old, around Spain, Portugal and Morocco, and currently running 2-week itineraries through Spain and Portugal in particular. And I've just finished one of these trips, and so I had a couple of days off, and I finished in Barcelona. And without having even a semi-permanent residence on this side of the world, I was saying to Heather, I've got to go somewhere, and I like to change up where I go and follow a festival or follow a season or an interest. And in this case, it was where I finished, Barcelona, access to the mountains where it's a bit cooler. And I wanted to see some wild horses, to be honest. So I've come up here and we've ticked that box, which has been lovely. But I'm back to, let's call it reality, tomorrow. So making my way to Madrid to start another 2-week project.
He just got back from, I was talking about you were finding an animal. So it's like a prairie dog, but it's not. It's a mammoth.
A marmot.
A marmot.
So a marmot, I would say in my Australian accent, a marmot.
Oh.
But they're a small little mammal, a herbivore. And I've seen them in Switzerland before, but they seem to be really habituated to people being around where I've seen them. And we'd learned before that we might have the opportunity to see some. And then we heard some, like this shrieking pitch off in this valley. So it sort of bounced around and was able to almost like echolocate where they were. And I was able to go and see them. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
It was one of the...
I didn't hear it.
Did you not?
I thought you just saw it.
No, I was onto it. Yeah, it was the sound.
Oh.
And I mean, I can't see them again. So as I got a bit closer, they went into, I think, what you call a burrow, and they haven't reappeared. But that was exciting.
You Aussies and Kiwis, because it's funny, we just met somebody named Matt, and Patrick was telling him like where the trail was, and Matt's like, I'll just follow my nose.
Yeah.
And you just followed the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, he seemed like a really experienced, hard bloke, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like the clouds are rolling in a little bit, and there's a lot of elevation going for where he's going. I'm so casual.
He's like, it's fine. I felt raindrops.
Yeah.
But he's because even before that, he was saying, he's like, I'm on no schedule. I could talk to you guys for 10 minutes or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if I were you, I'd be like, I got to get the heck out of here and get up this mountain.
And isn't that funny? Did you feel that raindrop as well?
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
It'd be strange if we felt the same one. Because I'd be the same. I think, and look at where we are, and what a perfect place to be present and to, feel the grass and be in the moment and all those lovely things. But I'd be the same. I'd be thinking, I got to get a move on.
Oh, 100%.
My body would be here, but my mind would be, I got to be there.
Like, how many more meters does he have to go? He has heaps to climb. He has a few hours.
Yeah, I think he's still got maybe 600 meters of elevation going.
Yeah.
It's massive.
But to be fair, we should also preface, it's like 2:30 on a Wednesday afternoon. We are both employed. But the sun doesn't go down until like 9:30,
Yeah.
so he'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time.
I also feel like he's gonna crush this. He's gonna fly up that hill.
So I've been here before, and in this very spot, and climbed a peak that he did, but without the same sense of confidence or know-how. And it was a very sort of tense and anxious experience, the whole thing, getting up there. It was the lack of knowing, where he seems to just be rolling with it, which is admirable.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
And he's gone a totally different way too. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be
Yeah.
right. He'll get there.
And over here, you can't see it, but there's like glacier. This is all glacial water. And it's like frozen still on the other side over here. So it's an interesting valley we're in.
And we saw some semi-wild horses, which was very special too.
Yeah.
Wasn't that nice?
That was awesome. Yeah, so if you see him itching.
Yeah, that's what that's about.
allergic.
I immediately knew. Like I knew. At least I went in with my eyes open.
Yeah, you might still need to jump in the water before we leave.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, probably so. You never regret a swim, even if it's cold.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I won't have to shower later. 'Cause I'll just...
What is your hair like when it gets wet though?
Oh, it's nice. I mean, it gets tangled, very tangled. What's your hair like when it's wet?
Well, I have really short, straight hair.
Yeah.
So I look at your hair and I'm very, very envious. It's a bit grass is always greener type thing.
Yeah, but think of the time it takes me to brush this.
Yeah. So no,
20 minutes.
I live with a hat on for that very
Yeah.
reason. I can just chuck this on. But I have, like, was one of those little boys, had an archetypal bowl cut.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
So that's my background.
Someone the other day was talking, is Michelle Wolf was talking about Angela Merkel's bowl cut. She was like, she just rocked it. Bowl cuts are making, especially in Australia, guys are all doing the half bowl cut and like the long, it's like a mullet bowl cut cross.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with it.
Mm.
I've seen it work on 1 out of 100 people.
Yeah, okay. It's not good odds if you're a betting man.
No, so I don't recommend it to most people. So yeah, speaking of such, Patrick is from Australia. Forget the town.
I'm from Melbourne, one of the big cities, but currently living part of the year down in Tasmania, which is a beautiful natural island off the mainland in the southern part of Australia. So it's pretty special. The next bit of land from Tasmania is Antarctica. So you're right down there. It's remote, it's rugged, it's wild, and it has its own cultural personality and identity, which is slightly different to the rest of what they call mainlanders, like mainland Australia. But it's suited me very much. So I've gone there for a relationship, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from where I grew up. But it's, for me, it's a very special place because it's close enough to home, but it's almost far enough away to have that sense of anonymity and independence, which I really crave. I feel like I've got a lot of breathing space down there, literally. So yeah, down in Tassie for part of the year.
I never made it down there, but I, like you and Matt were discussing, I went to New Zealand, so I feel like I have, in a sense, kind of seen what Tasmania might look like.
I think so.
Because I hear it's really similar to New Zealand.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's mountains. I mean, there's more to it, but there's mountains, there's lakes, beautiful beaches that are just so sparsely populated.
Yeah.
And it's peaceful, but it's I think what I really appreciate about it is it's the lack of people, so it still has that sense of wild and probably connection with what Australia was like
exactly
a couple hundred years ago.
I think someone did some study and they said like the most safe place you'd be if World War III were to break out is Hobart.
Yeah.
Have you heard this?
I have. My partner's dad has mentioned that before. And
yeah.
He says, no one thinks about us. You know, it was kind of an afterthought at the end of the world. And
guess I'll be calling you up in a few years. You got a spot for me in Hobart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what Tasmanians, and I don't fit into that category. Even if you've got grandchildren there but you weren't born there, I think it's hard to classify as a Tasmanian. And I don't. But that's what Tasmanians fear. They very much want to keep it
like
their own little secret.
Oh, that's understandable. I get it. I won't spread the secret. What do you do on your 2-week tours? Like, I know you show people around, but what, for people who haven't done a guided travel tour, what is usually involved? So
people come with different expectations, with different levels of experience of travel, looking for different things, whether it be food and history or adventure and whatever that means to them. And then we're there to fulfill the itinerary that they've signed up for. So it might be 9 days, it could be 15 days. The longest tour that I've ever run was 45 days. And so people sign up for the places and the accommodations and the included activities that they can do along the way. And it's our job to organise and facilitate all of that. And that can be really hard because it's not a science, it's an art. And you're dealing with weather, you're dealing with road blockages, you're dealing with disorganised hotels.
Personalities.
But more than anything, you're dealing with people. And that's what makes the job super dynamic and enjoyable and forever motivating, because even if you have building blocks that maybe strengthen you in some ways, but you're having to almost fight the same battles a lot of the time as well, because you've got these people and you start from the ground with them and you want to keep them safe, you want to keep them comfortable, but of course you want to get much further than that. You want them to have a fun and memorable time and an enriching time. And I think that's really, really possible with the places that we go. So a lot of the places do the hard work for us. Yeah. And then we just make sure that everyone's well looked after. Hotels are organised, restaurants are organised. And I think we also fulfill the role of storytellers and help to peel back the history and the complexities of the place.
Yeah. With like doing all of that, like knowing the history, telling people what's going on there, how did you prepare for this job, and how did you find your way into this, what most people would think is a dream job?
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is a dream job, because I can do this and I can sit here, and I'm not sure I would otherwise have had that opportunity, or as many of those opportunities with my travel outside of work. But I come from a communications background, so writing and public relations, and I worked in that for 3 years. But I worked in an office in Melbourne for a mid-sized, not-for-profit disability organisation, which was my first job out of university. And I worked with people that made a difference, but I also worked in a place that the building was 40 years old and they were under-resourced, and the people had been in the job for 40 years too. And I thought I needed more than that. I was walking the same hallways every day. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to travel, and I was very inexperienced, but someone gave me the idea to work for this company that's very popular in Australia called Kentucky, and it has a reputation for being quite party. And,
yeah, everyone knows what that is.
Yeah, and I was cynical about that. So rather than embracing that, I unfortunately veered towards the negative side. I thought, I don't want to usher around drunk people around Europe, and I very quickly got over myself, and I'm so glad that I did, because it turned out to be far and away the most challenging professional experience that I ever had, and training experience. And I'd been through uni, and I just sort of skated by, and, it was 3 days a week and last minute assignments, and I didn't have the drive, the fire in the belly, or the motivation. So when I did this, it was so hard. I was so out of my depth. And how wonderful that was, because it's a big wide world. And how are you ever expected to know it? You just can't. And if you think you do, you're naive, and you've got a lot to learn. But the training program was incredibly well organised and rigid and structured, but very hard and very almost militaristic in its style. And people would get kicked off at 4 a.m. in the morning and after days, and just pack your bags and go home. We were on the road for 70 days, and at any minute they might say, Heather, get up and give me a 25-minute talk about the wildflowers of Andorra. And you've never been to Andorra, and you don't have an experience with wildflowers. So you were drawing on whatever you could, and they didn't really expect you to know that, but they wanted you to understand that people are going to ask that. So prepare, and encourage your own characteristics of curiosity.
Yeah.
You know that someone's going to ask about the moss on that rock, or that glacial water, or which way is France, or which way is Spain, or why is Andorra different?
Yeah, which way is France? Okay, I actually don't know.
Or are those horses wild, or is that salt water? You get asked everything.
Yeah.
And so to continue to learn, to be vulnerable in the fact that you don't know everything, but to respect everyone's different styles. You're an experienced traveller, but we'd have an 18-year-old from Korea who can't speak English and is on her first overseas trip, and to treat her with the same respect. You might have a group of 4 cattle farmers from Queensland who are rough and ready to drink Europe dry. And so it was, I started doing that and taking laps around Europe for many years, and still here.
Yeah, still here. Wow. Yeah, I feel like nothing would quite prepare you for that job, like even if you went to school. So 70 days on the road with everybody that you're training with. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's very intense, and you're moving all the time.
Yeah.
And the information was one thing, but then we do logistical exercises where they would just say, there's many different itineraries. So give us the sequence of this tour, give us the sequence of that tour. One way that they would make sure you were constantly on your toes is that we would have A4 bound books that we had to draw a red margin on each of the pages. And every turn that the coach made, left, right, under a bridge, significant marker on the left or right, behind us, roundabout, we had to write down in our notebooks. So, and that was around Europe for 70 days. So they would yell out, route note, and you'd be studying something or preparing something else, and you get your route note out of your 10 books, because there were no phones and there was no...
Yeah,
we weren't allowed... no internet. We weren't allowed to use laptops to type anything, and you'd write these route notes. So we still have these tomes of route notes that you never looked at again.
Yeah.
But they were saying, they were teaching you preparedness is everything. And what if you find yourself back here with a group of 51 travelers? There's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And you're out there alone with a driver.
Yeah. Because you mentioned you know how to drive a coach just in case.
Well, I actually learned during COVID. So during COVID, when there was very little work available in the tourism space, I tried to
Smart.
look at some other options, and I got my license in Australia. So truck license, bus license. And then I've never used it since.
So you have it in your back pocket along with a bunch of other licenses I've learned about, like paragliding, sailing. Yeah. What else? What other crazy licenses do you have?
Skydiving. Got my skydiving ticket in a town called Nagambie a few years ago in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Scuba certified.
Yeah, scuba. I'm trying to think. They're probably the most. Oh, I'm a pilot, actually. Forgot about that. Yeah, I genuinely did. So I
just forgot.
I genuinely
how
did.
to fly a plane.
Yeah, so little planes, but single engine.
Still useful.
Amazing. So I'm actually quite proud of that. I learned during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent, it's not a cheap activity to learn. But
no.
It's not.
Neither is sailing.
Right. It's not. But it's not inaccessible either. It's not untouchable. And I learned in this little aircraft called a Piper Warrior in an area called Lilydale, just outside of where I lived in Melbourne. It was just within the zone that I could get to.
Lilydale.
And it was just this, I had time. All of a sudden I was in the one place, because for the last 15 years, this rolling stone that we were talking about just not being anywhere for more than a few days. So it was a chance to fulfill something that always sort of scratched away at me. And So to give you context, small planes, single engine, and there's many different levels of pilots, of course, and planes that you can fly. But I learned to fly these.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, it's not. Okay. I thought it was something worse. It's not bad. I'll just let it be, actually. I don't think you mind.
That's all right. Oh, yeah.
I thought it was, I don't know what I thought it was at first.
Look at that. How pretty. He's all right.
Oh, that's okay, buddy.
And then you have a certain amount of people you can fly with, and also how far you can fly.
Yeah.
So I can only fly within a 25 nautical mile zone of the aerodrome that I depart from. But my goal is to get to, so that's called a recreational license, to be able to fly from place to place, which is the dream, right? That's what you want it for.
Yeah.
Yeah. But learning. I really like that. And there have been some fun things that I've been able to do over the last couple of years.
Yeah. So with not being able to be, sorry, I just looked up and I was like, wow, Jesus, the clouds moved really nicely. It just made a perfect triangle. Also, I'm thinking I do want to figure out which way is France. So the sun is over there right now, right?
Yep.
So west, and France is
north of us.
Northwest, right? No, northeast.
Northeast? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that way's
both northeast and west.
No, I think it's just northeast, because I think that way is Spain.
I have a compass.
That's okay, but I think that way is Spain. We'll confirm after this.
So I had to learn about clouds for my my basic education that I've done with flying. And these are a classic example of cumulonimbus clouds.
It's a cumulus cloud.
Isn't it nice?
Because I forget the other names. I only remember cumulus. No. There's cumulus, not rhombus. That's a shape.
Yeah. Cumulonimbus. Stratus. Yeah.
No stratus clouds right now. No, that's a stratus, maybe.
Cirrus. Oh. That's a cirrus.
Okay.
It's being so high up.
What other clouds do we have?
Well, my favourite cloud is called a lenticular cloud.
I've never heard of this.
Check it out. It's so beautiful. They call them UFO clouds. And it's where I'm testing my memory here, so I'm sure I'll get this wrong. So you can't fact check this.
Okay.
Or rather, do fact check it. But it's where the wind hits the mountain, and on the lee side, so where it's not getting the wind, it's coming over. Okay, so it's coming over the mountains, and then it's coming in spirals. So it's creating this like smoothed out, so it's like a lentil, right? It's like this beautiful shape like an eye. So it's all smoothed out. So they call them UFO clouds. So they're really unique.
See this? I don't think I've seen it.
Check them out.
I'll check it out.
You'll become a cloud enthusiast.
I always love the clouds. I said it the other day. I said, all I want to do is lay and look at the clouds all day. I want to have a job because I want to have purpose.
Yeah.
And I like to do other things. But if I could get paid to look at the clouds all day and somehow be of use, that'd be great.
And tell me, when you look at the clouds, I don't want to answer my own question with what I would do. What are you doing?
Oh, I see pictures.
The shapes?
Right?
And yeah, great.
I'm like, these clouds are kind of hard right now.
These are tough ones.
This one kind of looks like, this looks like a squirrel maybe.
Okay.
Like with its big butt.
Yeah.
in the air.
I'm seeing like a stonefish over here. Venomous fish we have in Australia.
Yeah, I've heard of stonefish.
This looks like Salvador Dali, the really light, fluffy one at the back with his long pointed nose.
Hey, yeah, those are some good ones to look into.
What do you think? That one looks actually...
These just look like clouds that sit on top of Mount Olympus.
Look at that one at the back. It's like a classic Simpsons cloud.
Yes.
Delicious.
Where's Bart Simpson when you need him? So you don't live, like you mentioned, you were excited to be home during COVID and get your pilot's license because you're like, I'm finally somewhere where I have semi-roots planted for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, you kind of sort of have roots in Hobart a little bit. But what is it like? How have you adjusted your life to always moving around so much? And what was that adjustment like when you first left home? I'm sure it's changed throughout the years.
No, definitely. And it's so normal for me nowadays. And it does take an adjustment when I do go now to my girlfriend's in Hobart, and it takes time for me to adjust to the pace of that. And the normalcy, which I know can sound like a dirty word, but it's not. It was amazing. But certainly not slower paced, but it's more blinkered. Like I'm in this one place and I feel different weights of expectation with that. There's almost like, all right, well, now's the time. Now you've got time. Now you've got stability. What are we going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
But being on the road, I feel like it's a job in itself, isn't it? You're always planning, all right, what am I going to do today? And it's a privileged place to be in.
Yeah.
But what am I going to do today? Where am I staying next? How am I going to get there? Do I actually want to go there? What's the weather going to be like? How does that line up with that person I'm going to meet there? There's a lot that's happening just to live your life.
You're a project manager of your own life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, adjusting to that, it was such being in the deep end type of experience where so much was new. You were so vulnerable and like raw with inexperience. And I use this word intentionally, but fear of not being good enough, of not getting the job, of not passing the training, of letting yourself down, of going overseas and not fulfilling what people have expected of you.
Yeah.
It's just on, it was just a lot to adjust to. But the training was great because it was like, a raging torrent. You're thrown into it.
Yeah.
You've got no choice, sink or swim. Like keep up. If you can just keep your head above water, you're going to end up down the river. But if you don't, like get off, get out.
Yeah.
And that's the way they train you for, but I remember how privileged, how lucky I felt meeting this group of people from across the world one was this beautiful cheerleader. Another one was an actuary whose mind was more numbers. And then we had, creatives and firefighters and failed this and successful that. But it was a blended group of people who had one thing in common. Certain elements in common, and that related to organisation, people, and mainly people. Like they had to be resilient and relatable to lots of different people. And I just remember thinking, wow, how cool is this? All these places, and the world just became a lot bigger. And we used that term before of that can feel burdensome and that can feel intimidating. I used to think I'd meet people and they'd been here and they'd been there, and I'd be choked up with, rather than excitement, I'd be like, oh, I've got to go there. How have I not been there? How have I not done that?
And then you kind of like beat yourself up a little bit, like, oh, I need to do that.
Absolutely.
You can't do everything.
You can't do everything.
And enjoy it.
But then I just became excited by it. And is that what you want? Or is it what you're on the train tracks for of, is this who I am now? And do I have to go to 100 countries because this guy's done it? Just wait a second. Is this what I want? And fortunately, I've landed in a job and a lifestyle that I very much want. And that's one. It doesn't have to be about guiding, but it's about staying curious, and it's about learning, and it's about life and experience in the way that I really like it. And always being a bit of an outsider, being a bit vulnerable. And but I think there's strength in that of having to meet people.
Yeah.
Like we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Like you do in hostels. And just that forever learning, forever.
Forever learning. Always be curious. That's like my favorite. Just always be curious.
Definitely, right?
Yeah. About people, about places, food.
Yeah. Yeah, try it.
Especially
You might not
food.
like it.
Just try it. Yeah.
I went to a snail festival we were talking about last year.
Yeah.
Strange, not for me, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the textures and the grittiness of the certain snails, but people loved it, and I learned so much. And the way they would cook it, they would pour this alcohol over it and light it, and it's sort of all smoked up. And that was one way, but it was in paellas, and it was in
Oh.
You would just see thousands of them and stirring them around. And it was such a cultural thing. And it was about the food, but it was so much more than that.
And like going back to, you're saying the lifestyle, even just the snail festival, because you went to school for communications, did you ever expect that this would be your job and this would be what you would be doing on a daily basis?
No, not literally, but I wanted to. Working in Spain quite a bit, I think about characters like Don Quixote and these a little bit whimsical, naive, and what's he known as, the Knight of Sorrowful Countenance, like always chasing something, like imagining these big stories. And I thought that I'd probably have some type of life like that.
Yeah.
That was, I used to really want to be almost like the protagonist that sounds so elevated, but kind of the loner in the story, or like breaking away. And I didn't feel that sort of sense of comfort, or rather I felt a sense of discomfort, which probably put me on a path of other and seeking. And so, I probably always, honestly, I would have been happy if I was like on a horse in like where you're from.
Yeah.
But in somewhere epic, and living a life that maybe had a little bit of hint of danger, learning nature and animals, that's probably where I pictured myself.
What would you say is the biggest thing you've learned, through your own travels, and the biggest thing you've learned through guiding people through travels?
That's a great question, and it's one that I haven't pondered on. But I would say, is that lightning?
No.
No, you're not. How cool was that? Maybe it was. That's exciting.
Oh.
Well, this feels epic. How epic's this?
That's so epic. I also got nervous about Matt.
I know, me too.
Well, that sounded beautiful.
I've got that little satellite device.
I know.
I wish I'd given it to
I
you.
know. I was kind of wondering about that. I think he'll be good. I think he's really sensible.
Yeah.
Based off the 20 minutes that I know him.
Yeah.
I'm like, he knows what he's doing.
You seem intuitive. You seem perceptive.
This doesn't feel like a monsoon thunderstorm. You know what I mean?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a rain jacket?
No, but the last hike I went on a few weeks ago, I went on a hike recently, but I went on a hike a few weeks ago in the rain and it was lovely.
Yeah, okay.
I'll dry off.
So positive.
Yeah, I mean.
Right. It's the right way to be.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I have to shower anyways.
Yeah.
I love the rain. The rain is, I'm from the desert, so when it rains,
True.
it's like,
Yeah.
bring it on. Because I just didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
People in Arizona, like, when it rains, it's a party. Whoa.
Isn't that amazing?
That's so beautiful.
This guy really likes my neck.
Oh, hey, buddy.
I think I might have hurt him. So
Oh,
I think he's sleeping.
it might be a different one.
Yeah, he's sleeping.
Yeah.
I thought this is such an important lesson for me.
It sounded like rain, but it's just the rushing water.
It's moody. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of
Moody Myrtle.
Moody Myrtle. She's so cute.
Now we know.
Is in my head, sometimes I have to open myself up to having that conversation with someone because my instinct or my body is telling me probably more. This sounds quite dark, but it's true, like pervasive, negative, insidious things about my environment and the people that might be around me.
Mm-hmm.
But the lesson being that I almost always, as soon as I've opened myself up to chat to that person, that all of those preconceived ideas and ideas that feel like realities to me are washed, like washed away with, no, this person has other, of joys and stories and smiles. And I'll be there watching people sometimes. I'll be too sensitive. I'll be like hyper vigilant to what they're thinking about. And often that's negative things about me. Like, isn't that funny?
You're projecting.
Projecting, definitely.
Always. I've been working on this a lot. And what I've found, I don't know if this is like relevant to it, but I think about it all the time, especially because I've been in hostels. And so you're just around people. Even when you're solo traveling, you're never solo. You're seldom ever by yourself, especially at a hostel. You're just like, oh, this is overload. But I've found just within traveling, in that in particular, if there's somebody who I find annoys me for whatever reason, whether they'd said something weird or did something that I thought was strange, I somehow always end up talking to them and love them.
It's so funny.
Like the other day, this girl was talking in kind of a phone booth in Madrid in one of the hostels, and it was so loud, and I was trying to work, and I was kind of peeved, but I was like, you know what? She's in where she should be speaking. And then in the bathroom, she's with her friend. We're all just washing our face, and she's chatting. She was like, oh yeah, blah, blah, my birthday. And I was thinking, my birthday was just a few days ago too. We're like kind of birthday twins. And just as I was listening to her talk, I was like, she's just a normal person and I'm having a bad day. And then as I left, I was like, happy birthday. And she was like, oh my God, thank you. I guess I'm just saying this all as in, yeah, usually when I find I'm projecting, I am the issue.
Right.
I'm always the issue.
It's not funny. We're the issue.
We are the issue. And usually if you see something bad in somebody else, it's something that is actually in you.
Yeah.
That's why you're picking up on it.
Yeah.
Because you're recognizing something that you don't like about yourself.
Yeah. And it's a great point, and it's something that, I mean, there's so many wonderful things that you could learn. It's just something that came to mind about the complexities of people and differences and the respect and understanding that we are all different. And that's also true, but I think I'm fortunate that that's quite inherent in me. But this is something that I really do feel is a good lesson. It's to have the conversation, to open up the conversation, like be the person who, yeah, you know, if you're a person like you, and I probably fit into this category too, you can be a really positive influence on people in a short period of time and make them feel comfortable. And I'm not saying to intercede on whatever their experience is, but sometimes to go up, hey, go on, mate, you know, and that was them.
I thought it was a bird, but I see it.
You see it?
That's so tiny.
So cute, right? Go, run,
oh
run,
my God,
run,
that's
run.
fast.
Yeah. So there's another one. That was maybe the ones I was seeing before, just a flash of brown.
Okay. Right on.
But I always think that when I'm feeling that way, it's just to say hello, have a chat.
Just say hi.
So powerful. Like, I remember when my brother first was doing independent style travel, and he's more reserved than I am. And I think he had some concerns, and I just said to him, mate, go to the bar. I'm not necessarily, I was probably saying go have a beer, but loosen yourself up. But it's not even that.
Yeah.
Go to the bar. You're going to chat to someone. That might not be the person you end up spending the night with and having a few drinks with, but maybe the next person is.
Yeah.
And then you're going on a hike with them the next day, or like things roll on, don't they? It's really nice like that.
Exactly. I love it. I agree with all of that. Just say hi.
Yeah. But I thought, reflecting on what you were saying about on working with people, it's, I guess said it to me once, and I really try and relate to this. It's, you've got two ears and one mouth. And that was to say, listen, listen, listen twice as much as you talk. And that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
And if that's listening almost with your eyes, or at least absorbing information.
Well, I've found just being in a country where I don't speak the language, listening does involve your eyes. I can't understand Spanish unless I have to actually watch somebody. And then it just reminds me, even if somebody's speaking English, to actually give them my full attention, or else I'm not fully taking it in. Because that's how I am with Spanish. I have to watch everything. Thank God they give gestures, and I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Helps me learn. Well, you've given so many good tidbits, and because I'm very much listening. I feel like you already said, I was going to ask you, what is the biggest piece of advice you would offer somebody, and you've already given so much, considering the rain. If you had one last piece of advice to give somebody who, whether they're traveling or looking for a new career path, or just scared to go on a solo trip or go on a group trip.
Yep.
Any advice?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And it's the most simplistic advice that pops into my mind, but I think it's the most profound and the most helpful, is just to do it, is to make a commitment to it. And if, however that manifests for you, does that mean booking a trip? Does that mean setting a date? Does that mean starting a saving plan? Does that mean buying, like we were talking about motorcycle trips or something, buying a bike and going, I'm just going to do it. And then once you've committed to it, start talking about it, because then it becomes more of a reality. And then, so book the trip. And I come from working a lot in organized travel, but I come from much more independent travel with my own. So I see both sides of it. They're both great. So don't be cynical about organized travel. Give it a go.
It's fun. I did EF college breaks.
Right.
It's a great time. I was at my friends' weddings because of it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And you build confidence. It's an apprenticeship. And then eventually, if you want to go off and do your own thing, and you'll just have a little bit more strength and wisdom and experience. But it's to get started. And then isn't it amazing, because it's so big and there's so much that you can do in so many different forms. We're here hiking today. We're talking about doing horse riding trips, talking about paragliding. All of a sudden we're meeting this Kiwi and we're saying, what's next for you? And we're talking about sailing trips. It's infinite.
Yeah.
And I think if you're the type of person that's driven by experience, then this is a great space to get into. And
Exactly.
how lucky we are to be here right now.
We are to be here on a Wednesday afternoon.
Mm,
It's just, again, I'm sitting in a movie set.
true.
It's
It is getting cold. Are you going to swim?
No.
No, okay.
I if it was hot earlier,
Yeah.
I would, but no.
No.
Yeah, it'll be a cold walk back.
That's true. That's sensible.
Yeah.
That's
Are you gonna swim?
No, I think I might get up to my knees.
Yeah.
I think that would be enough.
I'll go put my feet in.
Yeah.
With that, what song do you have on repeat right now?
It's a song called, it's probably a song I've had on repeat for 10 years.
Great.
But it's one that makes me happy. It has this beautiful crescendo. It's a guitar solo by an Australian artist called John Butler. It's called Ocean.
Okay.
Check it out.
I will.
It's like 10 minutes long. So,
That's okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Time is perfect. Yes. Well, thank you. I mean, I learned so much more about you than I already did on the first start of our hike.
Great.
Yeah, loved it.
Thanks for the chat.
Of course. Thanks. See you guys.
Bye.